thing we'll want to do is go to web.loadtrek.net here, and once you're at this screen, we'll throw in our company, username, and our password here. You'll hit login, and then it'll pull you up to the dashboard. And the next thing we'll want to click is this hours of service icon right here. It's going to pop open the hours of service application. And so you'll see this page right away. If you're not selected on any driver, any period right away here, you're not going to see any data in the HOS log. But I'll start with just kind of showing you guys the main features that we got. So right off the bat here, we have this pineapple. We call it the pineapple. You click on that icon and it'll show you all the drivers and HOS logs for today. And through here, you can actually click on the driver that you'd like. And I'd like to look at Dan Stefanski's logs here, so I'm just going to click on that, and it'll pull up his log for today. The next thing we have is the calendar. You can scroll right and left, and you can cycle through the days, or you can click this calendar view and you can see the full month. You can see his log for the full month. We'll go ahead and hit exit, or you can click this and it'll pull up a calendar, and you can just click whatever day you'd like. I'm going to scroll through a couple of things here so that I can show you guys a little more options. So currently I just selected a period. As you see, it's highlighted. And then there's this period left and right options right here, and here you can just cycle through the periods one by one. It's very helpful as far as keeping things easy and smooth. So the next thing we have here is the filter options. You'll hit this drop down arrow and it'll pull up the driver group filters, sort by. You could search based on driver groups or sort by drivers or driver ID. And then we also have the availability to filter by log exception, log entry, or by vehicle here. So you just click filter by vehicle and then you'd be able to pull up whatever vehicle you're looking for here. I'm going to apply no filter and I'm going to minimize this. The next thing we'll see here is this exclamation mark, this caution sign here, and it says 9+. That's just telling me that I have 9+ alerts. So if you have any of those, you'll see them pop up there. You can configure the alerts by clicking on that button down there. To the right of that, we have a refresh button and a question mark button. The question mark button, I'm not going to click it because it'll take me somewhere where it won't take you guys. It'll take you guys to the support portal where you have the availability of accessing some resources as far as KVAs, just basic hardware literature, as well as creating tickets and trying to reach out to us. And directly to that, we have the options button. First thing you'll see is run report. So that'll run the report for this driver's HOS log for this day when you click that. If you click setup, it'll pull you right to the setup side. I'll actually show you right now. So it'll pull you right here so you can easily access anything that you need to either change or look at. So it's pretty nifty. The next thing here, we have the allow log edit checkbox. I will explain that shortly here. And we have the edit period checkbox and the comments checkbox. Those three I will explain in a minute. So I'm just going to go back to this plain log here. He just has an off-duty status right away here. He has no other periods. And I'm just going to show you guys a couple other things about this application here. So one thing to note is if you click in this white area just around here above the letters, anywhere above just this text right here, you'll be able to expand the graph and minimize the graph, whatever you prefer. I prefer the 24-hour view, so it makes everything a little easier to see right away. But then you have all these, all this information here. We have total worked, total available, total driving available. So it'll tell you all this information if you need to look at a driver's log. If he's got a good log, you'll be able to just tell how many hours he has left or just any information. Down here we have the duty periods. So if you expand that arrow, it will display all the periods he has. So currently he only has this off-duty period, hence I clicked on it and it only highlighted that period. So if you had more periods, like in this one here, it'll show way more periods, timestamps. And actually when you're in here, you're able to select the periods one by one just by going through here. And then there's also the period arrow option. And then you can also just click on the period itself, but that's a little more tricky. And I usually prefer just clicking on one of these and cycling through. So I'm going to go back to this guy again. And the next thing you'll see is vehicle data. So that'll pull up for whatever timestamp there was, it'll pull up for that period, it'll pull up all the data. So I just selected this period and it just pulled all of this data for it. It gives me a nice GPS location here, latitude and longitude, RPMs. So you can see vehicle data within here. This really gives you just a very nice broad view if you need to troubleshoot any type of thing. So the next thing we have is arrivals and departures. So you'll be able to see that information there. And then period detail, driver entries, and then comments lastly. So it's really nice. Tons of information, extremely useful. So now I guess I'll show you guys how you can edit logs. So let's say I pulled this driver up here. This should be Dan Stefanski still. I'm going to double check. Yep. Okay. So let's say Dan was supposed to have at least 2 on-duty not driving periods and 1 driving period. Just a super simple log. But obviously something went wrong. The logs aren't showing. Either the driver didn't execute what he was supposed to be doing, the driver process was missed a little, or something happened. So you'll be able to go in here and you'll go to options, and this is where we'll go to the allow log edit. You'll ensure that that checkbox is clicked. And one thing to note is if that checkbox depends on your permissions. So if you have permissions for that, for the allow log edit, then you'll be able to click it. If not, you won't be able to. So you'll know if you try to click it and it doesn't click. So the next thing you'll see is that this edit period button is still grayed out, but you will see when I click on one of these periods, so I just went to the duty periods list right here, and there's only one. So as soon as I click it, that button highlights and you have the access to click on it. Once you've clicked on it, then you can see that there's a lot of options that you can do. We're going to edit the period, and we will throw in the correct information here, but I'm just going to hold off for 1 minute because I want to click. Let's say he was supposed to start this morning at 8 o'clock. So what you have to do is you can double click anywhere you want and it'll pull up the editing, or you can click on the period and hit edit period. So again, I just went a little past the 8 and I double clicked, and you can see that it threw me in at 8:04. So you want to make sure that you set this time to what you need it exactly to be set to. Right now I just threw it to 8 o'clock on the dot, and then we're going to do on duty not driving, and you have to add a comment to add the edit. So keep that in mind. You'll have to throw something in this comment box here. I'm just going to type in on duty not driving, and we'll hit add. So you can see that it threw in this period, and it kind of throws it in indefinitely until you put in the next period. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. He was only off duty not driving for 25 minutes, so I'm going to double click right after there, and we'll go 8:25, and then I will go driving. We added the comment and we'll hit add, and it threw in that driving period now. So now we'll go down, we'll go a little past noon here. I double clicked and I'm going to edit this to noon on the dot, and we will go back to not driving. Is currently on duty, not driving. We'll throw that in. It added that period. And then finally here at 1300 hours, we'll go ahead and make him off duty. Actually, it got rid of that on duty not driving period, so I'm going to throw that back in here just so I can show you guys kind of a good looking log here. There we go. That looks a little more regular. So that's how you throw in your logs. That's how you edit your logs. And then again, you can click on these periods that you just put in, and you can go to edit period, and you can change anything up. You can remove it. One thing to note is you do have to add a comment to remove it. So if I wanted to remove it, I'll just add mistake and then remove, and it takes it away. Another thing you can do is click on those periods again, and you can hit comments. And there you'll be able to see if any comments have been made, and you can add a comment if you would like to add one. So let me just think here and make sure I covered all my bases. I believe I did. So there's one more thing actually. So if you did make log edits, this option will be available. It says log has been edited, click to view original. So right now we're looking at the edited log, and we'll click this and it makes everything pink, and then it shows the original log. So that'll show you how it originally was before you made edits. So if you need to backtrack at all, you have that option.